We're out on the pace lap for our next race 2. Today is Group 5, and I am delighted to be joined by Manley Ford, many-time race winner here, the guy who wrote the book on the Schenley Park race course. And did write a book. The book is there.
Very little book.
It's made available to new racers here at Schenley Park if they want to make a contribution to the PVGP charities.
And I've been thrilled. I've almost sold out. I've sold more of them this year than any year in the past, and it's been a charming weekend just hearing people talk about it.
It's a tricky race course, and of course it's not a race course, which means you can't come here and run some other events to prepare for this weekend the way sometimes you can do at other racetracks. It's only a racetrack this weekend, so if you don't know the course and you're a newcomer here, a little help can go a long way, and Manley can. In fact, not only has he written the book, but you give some advice. You have a session on Friday.
Yeah, I've been privileged to lead one of the walkarounds for the new drivers, and any driver who comes on Friday afternoon and wants to take a walk around the course and get a different perspective on what's the right line, what's the safest line for different turns. So I had a nice group of people on Friday, and I've gotten very nice compliments from people who attended that, which is always it's nice to put in the effort and have people appreciate it.
This race is sponsored by Hillview Motors, who are about to get underway. Group 5 cars are on course. The safety cars are just ahead of the field. Pole sitter is Gary Blenaric, car 67 of Baden, Pennsylvania, and a Porsche 924 on the pole. That's interesting because there's some 914.6s and 911s in this group. So
yeah, you got to wonder what's in that 924.
Yes, is that really a 924? And actually, as I look at the field, I don't see a 924 up front.
Not there.
I see a 914.6 up there. So
I think there was a 924 about 5 rows back.
I see two of the red E-type Jags there.
This is always an exciting group of cars to watch. They are fast. And in the early days of this race, we didn't let 2-liter modern cars race here, and I was always really worried when they did, and as it turned out, they do spectacularly here. Cars with modern tires and modern brakes.
Yeah, we do kind of make our own rules here at this track and can eliminate some competitors if the cars are too fast, and which is why we don't have things like Corvettes,
yeah.
Right, in particular. A lot of people ask, why can't we see vintage Corvette racing? And you can when we do the races as we did last weekend at Pit Race, which is a dedicated racetrack, but not here on Schenley Park. There's the pace car. The Jag is about to pull off the course. Should see our field shortly.
Not exactly the tightest arrangement I've ever seen.
That's Perry Geneva in the lead, by the way. Car 202 is the BMW 2002. And I'm guessing that the sheet that's indicating Gary Blenaric as the pole sitter is wrong. He's a little farther back, I'm guessing. Todd Hahn's second at the moment in car number 9, the Porsche 914.6.
Now, as the pole sitter here, you have the challenge of trying to maintain the pace car pace and trying to keep the field in view. As a driver, you don't like to see them all strung out, but it's also hard when you've got those guys right next to you and they're revving their motors, and you want to get into turn 1 first.
And this is an unusual track because by the time they hit the start line, if it's a large field, many of them are around the corner. You can't see the flag if it's thrown. And at some tracks, there's a long straightaway so that the whole field can see the start tower, and they can't do that here.
When I had the good luck to be on the pole here, I always tried to really keep the speed down and make sure that the whole field could see, so everybody could see the flag stand. And I think I was probably the only pole sitter that ever really did that here.
Now, do you have
I'd forever get out accelerated going into turn 1.
Did you have the option of choosing whether to be on the inside or the outside?
You can choose which side you want.
And here, what's the best side?
Well, I've told you in the past that sometimes I think the outside lane is better, particularly if you can get the drop on people, because you can get through turn 1 a lot easier. If you're over on the right, it's kind of stopped and turn right, and you're not carrying as much speed.
Yeah.
But either way, it's always difficult to turn one usually on the first lap.
If you're on the inside and you are the belligerent side, you could just kind of force your way in there.
Yeah. My good friend George Schaefer did that to me one year, as you might remember. He was paying me back for a maneuver I put on him at the hay bales a couple years earlier.
Belligerent, maybe is not the right term.
Insistent.
Yes, determined. It could lead to disaster, though. So, Perry Geneva continues to lead. And then 4 9:14.6s, including John Bechtel, a fourth of them, and then Rich Malumian and the Austin Healey. I think, is that a 104? Is that I believe it's a 104.
It's a 104.
And how big is the motor in the 104? Is that over 2 liters?
It's 4-cylinder. I don't think so. I think that's. I have to admit I'm not as sharp on my Healey's, and I actually owned a 62 for a summer.
We're trying to think of whether it was a bigger motor than the TR4, which was what, 2130 or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think we have.
This could almost be almost all German race except for the 2 Healey's and the Datsun 240Z.
You know what? It was fun to see last weekend at Pit Race when we inaugurated the new long course. We had a slew of 240Zs. I want to say we had 4 perhaps. And it's more than I've seen on a racetrack in a very long time. It was really fun to see all these 240Zs out because they were really quite successful race cars in their day. And I can't remember whether Paul Newman raced one, but I know Bob Sharp did.
Yeah, Paul, of course, spent a lot of time in 510.
Yeah.
Speaking of George Schaefer and both Bob and George Schaefer got the privilege of running against Paul in the 510. But I know he ran a 280 later on. 280s against Paul.
Yeah.
Our 2002 has disappeared.
And that's our leader off, we understand, at 19. Do you have the corner stations numbers memorized? Do you know what 19A would be?
19 where he's off?
Is that the top of the serpent?
Yeah, I think that's at the top of the serpent. Probably just pulled off there.
So he's pulled off driver's right.
Yeah, that's right at the serpentine.
Yeah. So I think that's an area where there's stone walls. So if he's pulled to the side of the road, you can't pull off there. You just have to pull over to the stone wall, I think. If he's off right here.
There's actually some grass there between 19 and 19A. I think you can get over there.
Okay,
but still, you're not in a good spot.
Yeah. So instead, it's Todd Hahn, car number 9, your leader, the first of that group of Porsche 914.6s. Two E-Type Jaguars, both out of the Patterson stables. Spencer Patterson in 524 and Peter Patterson in car 523. One's a coupe, one's a roadster. Yeah, they're going to send a vehicle to retrieve that car. I guess the rollback, the flatbed, and they're going to send it out there because it's, I guess, too close to the racing line.
As you surmised it might be.
Yeah.
And,
right.
And that's kind of a rare occurrence to have a safety
vehicle
on the track here while the track is hot.
Yeah, we don't do that very often, but there are certainly places where it's just too narrow to have a car parked, and that would be one. That means that the corner workers up there are signaling the drivers to. Usually, there's actually a corner worker standing in the road, telling the drivers to move over.
Hopefully aided by a couple of waving yellow flags a few turns before, too.
Right, the white flag out. And I think that they park a recovery vehicle right just at the top of the serpentine, so he doesn't have very far to go to get down to get him. No. So you'll see the white flag displayed, which is telling oncoming drivers that there's a slow-moving vehicle on the course ahead. So 3 Porsches up front. Todd Hahn, car number 9. Chuck Kelly in 671. And John Bechtel in 66.
Number 11 car, the Porsche that Michael Schindel drives. You know, Mike, he and I are old friends, and it's always good to see him out.
Yeah. And there are other members of the Schindel family who are racing these days, too. Yeah. So the recovery vehicle has arrived at the car, and so that's going to slow the racing down just a little bit in that area. Generally, you do not see a full course yellow here. I don't know that we've done a full course yellow here. Usually it's
not that I can recall, except maybe for weather conditions.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Usually it's a local yellow right around the incident.
The Patterson E-types are sure fun to look at. They have beautiful cars and beautifully prepared.
Yeah.
And they got that nice patina of having been flogged a lot.
Right, they're not show
not
cars.
Not museum pieces.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Be fun to have a family battle. Damage to the right rear suspension of the BMW that's off up here.
Oh my.
Perry Genova's
probably
car.
clouded a curb. It got a little terminal oversteer.
May well have gotten too close right curb, or maybe the wall up there. And usually if it's a minor problem with the car, you can tow it in. If you break a suspension, that's when you have to pick the car up.
I don't know if the yellow caused it, but it certainly tightened up the race between the 2 9.2. They're kind of nose to tail now.
Yeah.
And so a heck of a race at the front.
So we have, I think, 4 laps complete out of 8, so we're halfway through this Group 5 race for over 2-liter cars. And some years we've had a lot of BMW 2002s. The years that BMW has been Mark of the Year, we've had, in fact, a whole BMW race, which we can do. Not too many 2002s here this year. There were 2 gridded for this race. And I think just one remains, and that's car number 20. Maybe there are still 2 out there. Car number 20, Adrian Hughes from Spencerport, New York. Then there's a sister car. The car I'd like to refer to as the art car. That's Roy Hopkins.
Roy.
So Roy is out there running, and he's in the, I want to say, top 5 at the moment. He is, in fact, 5th. Adrian Hughes in 8th. Well. That's Rich Malumian and the white Austin Healey with blue stripes. Kind of an American racing paint scheme there. It reminds me of the Cunninghams.
Cunninghams, yeah. White with the blue.
Yep. Well, very briefly there, we just about had 3 abreast The two E-type Jags and a fast Porsche coming.
The leaders were lapping the Jags here, and I have a feeling that helped separate the two of them a little bit, the two 914s a bit, as they kind of muscled their way through turn one here. Well, there's a 924. He's still doing well.
Right, that's the car that we thought was going to be on the pole.
Somehow they got the
Lenaric, but I think we had
They actually had a bogus time there.
Right, anomaly.
Anomaly, yeah.
Well, we had a session yesterday in which we had a car on the pole with a lap time of 1 second, which I thought was remarkable. It was Dottie Bechtel. And
Dottie's pretty clever.
So somebody said that would be just about light speed, I think, to do that. So that may not have happened yesterday. So there are your leaders, Todd Hahn, Chuck Kelly, and John Bechtel. You can see that I think do we have 5 laps complete now? Pretty clean racing this weekend. I haven't seen a shot now and then. The amateur radio folks who do our corner-to-corner communications have a closed-circuit camera that's pointing at the hay bales of our chicane. You know, by the way, I got a lift around to our opening ceremonies earlier, so it's the first time I went around the course this weekend. And there is not much of an opening through the
it's very tight
through the chicane.
Right.
I mean, it's really, you can't go through there two abreast.
No, it's here comes our wounded 002.
Oh yeah.
On the flatbed.
Yep.
So they pretty short work of getting him out of the way. And so I hope the damage isn't too bad. But oh yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Right side looks bad. Both
right
front
side is
and
pretty
rear.
banged up.
Yeah.
So unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hay bale chicane from year to year sometimes is tighter. In certain races, it tends to get a little more open as each session goes on. And oh yeah, here we have a...
Well, my understanding is, I think that's our leader, Todd Hahn, was our leader, Todd Hahn.
And he slowed.
The report I got was that he'd gone too fast through our yellow flag area up here, and they waved the furled black flag at him, and he must have mistakenly slowed down here. The furled flag means we're watching you. You know, don't do that again. If they really want to punish the driver, they'll give him the real black flag.
So apparently they would consider this was a yellow here.
Right up by our incident.
He passed under the yellow before getting to the next station where it's obviously clear.
Passed or just went too fast through the. I mean, theoretically, you're supposed to slow down in the yellow flag area. It's hard to make drivers slow down, but. I think the corner worker just thought he was going a little too fast.
And particularly where the flatbed is up there, safety workers are out there trying to get the car on.
Right.
So you really do need to back off considerably in that sort of a circumstance.
So you were talking earlier about telling the drivers that this is not a 10/10ths race, but you know, it seems to me it's difficult to. It must be difficult for a driver to judge. Well, how fast is 8/10ths? What's the difference between 8 and 9/10ths? And what's the difference between 9 and 10/10ths?
And a big part of that is just recognizing that you don't cross the crown at the exit of the turn. And a lot of people just doing that and keeping the car from drifting on the negative side and not letting it get anywhere close to the curbs. Whereas on a normal racetrack, if it were flat, you'd be using the whole course. And you'd be sliding as close to those curbs as you could.
Right, and even edges. Using the curbs, the sloped curbs.
But there are times, of course, when people see somebody turning a really fast lap time on this track and think that's somehow inherently dangerous. And when in fact the driver's driving a really safe line, and there's others who are going slow, and you think they must be doing something safer, and that's not necessarily the case either. So the traditional hangman's noose is out for the hang in there for one last lap for the leaders.
Well, just got word that John Bechtel is off
Oh my.
And my note says car is at the barrier on the driver's left. I hope it's not in the barrier. Right at about station 9 at 10. Maybe he's pulled off to the side. It sounds as though perhaps his engine quit on him.
Well, that's an easy place to pull off. That's turn 9 is the
By the Westinghouse fountain.
Westinghouse fountain, and so there's that nice little short chute there, and there's room to pull off.
That's good.
On the right.
That's good. So he's probably out of harm's way there.
Well, that's.
But a shame because Bechtel's race was going really pretty well.
Yeah.
I think he was running third in the 9:14.6. Well, those 9:14.6s just looked like such a great combination of mid-engine, big Porsche, relatively
Porsche
speaking,
six-cylinder.
6 back there.
Nice
and,
big wide tires in the back.
yeah, I mean, it really looks like it would make a great race car. Manley mentioned the noose is out at the finish line, telling drivers hang in there. 1 lap to go, so now we've got about a half lap to go. Checkered flag is being readied at the moment.
Every time I see that traditional noose hanging out there, it reminds me of Ralph Cadwallader back in the day, the guy with the TAM.
Oh yes, of course.
And
yes.
He was such a charming man. He had a lot of sports car racing history back in the 50s. So he was the first guy I ever saw doing that. Nobody had explained it at the drivers' meeting that I was at.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm going, what does this mean?
What is that? Are they going to hang me after this race?
Ooh, parts.
There's your winner, car 671, Chuck Kelly. Takes the win, takes the checker, and he's got quite
a piece of his exhaust system came off just as he was passing the. Just
is that
before
right?
Passing the the tailpipe on the right side of the car went flying off. You could see that it wasn't there as it went by. Went tumbling off the track harmlessly.
Second place is car number 9, unofficially Todd Hahn, and I think we'll see the blue and white Austin Healey of Rich Malumian. Taking third. There is an Austin Healey that's coasting very slowly to the finish line.
This is
Roy Hopkins gets third place then.
Mm-hmm. I would think so.
In the BMW 2002.
Oh.
Gary Blenarek, fourth in car 67, the Porsche 924, and fifth unofficially, I think, is car 17, Jordan Bell of Glenside in the Porsche 914-6. And I can't see a number over here, but I think that this is Rich Malumian, who stalled just before the finish line.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll have a couple of cars to bring in at the end of this race.
Yeah, a little more carnage than you would have expected from this group in terms of the number of cars that either had mechanical or striking the earth failures, I guess, in one way or another.
Yeah, we had a pretty nearly eventless day of practice and qualifying yesterday, although we did have a car that suffered some serious damage after encountering a Jersey barrier yesterday, but no one hurt there.
Right.
So we'll bring our leaders in. Manley, I'm going to wander over with the wireless mic if you want to
take a break here.
Okay. We'll see you at the victory circle. Test. Chuck, you look a little warm.
Yeah, it's a little hot out there, let me tell you. Pretty intense race.
Yeah, it was an intense race. We got a kick out of this race, and I guess it was as exciting on track as it looked.
Definitely, this is my second year doing this, and this year was just unbelievable, incredible race. The weather's perfect, the fans are great, the spectators, just glad to be a part of it.
So you're aware as you go by some of the spectator areas, you're aware that they're there?
Oh yeah, especially up at the golf course. You know, we can see them as soon as we come up the top of the hill, and it's really great to have them out there. It really lifts your spirit, you know, when you're sweating like that.
And you are too. Congratulations. It was a great race.
Thanks, Ted.
Todd Hahn.
Hi.
Fabulous race. I mean, it really was so much fun to watch the Porsches here.
Yeah, well, first, congratulations to Chuck. He drove a great race and kept me looking in my mirrors the whole time. But I'd like to dedicate my race to my lovely wife, Stephanie. My father is not with me, my beloved little dog who rides with me in spirit. And also Russell, who really gives me a great car, and his lovely wife, Lonnie, that they come out here and offer support. It was a good race. I got black flagged because I think I might have done something stupid. I don't know. I got it on videotape, but I got a black flag. But that's all my bad. But it was a good race, and Chuck's been fast all weekend, and we had a nice time out there.
I don't pretend to know exactly what's going on, but I think they were concerned you're going a little quickly through a yellow flag area. I know they were picking up a car over here. So
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't pull me from the race. I got one that was waving, and then one was furled. I said, well, it's furled. I'm going to stay out here. But you know, so I figured, and I'm grateful that they and thankful that they were lenient and at least let me come in and finish as well as I finished, because Perry, I'm sad to see him because he was the class of the field. Perry is the class guy and the class of the field, and I'm sorry that he had to spin. Yeah.
great race though for you, and congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations to Chuck. He's been quick all weekend and getting quicker.
And terrific race. I always love to see you in the car, Roy Hopkins, and you started farther back than you finished. I mean, you really had a terrific race. You were fighting your way through the field.
Just trying to persevere. Unfortunately, some folks had some problems, but we kept running good, and I was kind of surprised when I came around and saw the numbers. So thank you for everyone here at Pittsburgh for a great event.
So Adrian Hughes is racing out of the same stable?
Yes, she's driving the red 20 car, and I hope she had a good race. Didn't see any problems out there. So it's great to be able to bring as many cars as we can down here.
And how many cars did you bring this year? Just the two?
Unfortunately, just two. Some years we managed to get three and get a buddy to bring a fourth. So we'll be back.
That's excellent. Thanks so much, Roy Hopkins. Very fine third place. Thank you.
Thank you.